So, do you guys have a plan for this place?
I don't really know what we're doing.
We were living in Brooklyn and it was getting so expensive and we weren't really working, so.
No.
I know that this is, not autobiographical, but pretty personal for your director. And I wondered what that process was like, kind of becoming involved with something that's so intimate and close and personal to him.
It was very scary. And I think, it was personal for me too. I think we both, the script was kind of born out of some conversations that we had about being in an intimate relationship with someone that you were also making a movie with and how complicated that gets. So I think we both kind of like related to each other on that level and knew how crazy and hard that can be. But it was a delicate situation. I mean, it was personal for everyone in a lot of different ways. So, there was a lot of stuff to dig through.
Larry is very like open, and he's very honest, and he's very like neurotic in that way, and he maybe overshares. So I mean, he comes with like that trust element because he's very open. He's very open about his writing and but also not precious about it. In the same sense, he kind of can look at it. He's good at wearing two different hats. He wrote it, but then he's good at being the director and then kind of interpreting his own writing in that sense. And he's also an actor, so he kind of gets it from an actor perspective also. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a good amalgamation of who he is as a person that made this intense process easier than maybe it should be.
I remember when I met him for the first time, just really kind of responding to how he wanted to make the movie, because I mean, I kind of always like to work as though it's always like a work in progress, and you're kind of like making the movie as a progress is the process of kind of like understanding the characters, and he was really into that, and I really like that, as opposed to just deciding everything before you kind of go to camera.
Black Bear is kind of, it's almost like a quasi subgenre of like of thriller. Like, bad things happen when attractive people are in a cabin together, like just not going to go well. I always love thinking about what it's like filming those things when you're all in a house. And without saying too much, obviously we get a specific peek at that process, but what does that do as actors? How does that kind of help you out, or maybe hamper the performance when you are all in this confined space, one single location filming something?
I think it helps. I mean, I think knowing, especially with movies like this that are, you have limited time anyway, I think that it helps knowing that there's an end in sight.
Yeah.
No, but I'm being serious. Like in terms of it forces you to you kind of have this go attitude about it, right? If Black Bear was shooting for 4 months, it would be like, it'd be like, all right, maybe it's too much. But like you're then forced to kind of, it's going to end, so like you're more game to kind of just jump in and like not sleep very much and like just like kind of give your all to it. And I like it. I like those limitations for that reason.
It was insane. I mean, I will never forget it, and I will never repeat it. Larry, to his credit, has impeccable taste, which is one thing I really like about him. And so he picked a stunning location. It just happened to be, 40 minutes off the grid with no cell reception and no power and no whatever creature comforts. So it was a challenge. It offered a lot of challenges to the production. And I think it also kind of infused this kind of chaotic energy into the film, because we were all basically living where we were shooting. Sarah and Chris and I were living a little bit further away, but Larry was living in the house. So he was having his own The Shining meltdown, on the reg.
Were there instances where it felt like there were blurred lines between, we've got a film crew in real life, but then we're also, I mean, how did that whole process work? I'm, obviously a lot to wrap your head around in this film, but.
Yeah, there was, part of our crew were actually in the movie playing crew members, so there was definitely that crossover, and that kind of added to the kind of like confusion and intensity of the second half of the movie, where, you know, I know like half of our camera department was in it, and they were just kind of like, you know, both thrilled and exhausted by being in the movie. And yeah, the whole thing kind of was like ironically similar in terms of it being kind of a tough and trying shoot. We were shooting in this, you know, mountainous lake estate that is not meant to, you're not meant to shoot movies there. And so we would burn the generator every night. There would be a blackout, and we'd have to stop for 20 minutes as they restarted the Jenny, which added to the intensity of trying to make our days, because we were shooting nights in the summer and you only have like 7 hours of darkness or whatever. So it was really kind of fly by the seat of your pants. But as Chris was saying, that really just like added to the process of making the movie. And there was obviously so much respect and love between each other and Larry that, you know, was not like anything that we couldn't handle.
We shot the first part of the movie first, so I think they kind of designed it way so that, you know, we would bring in the rest of the actors for the second half. And but at that point, you know, we were a very, very small production, so we had to fill in the gaps with some of the real crew. So there were people on camera that were not actors, and then there were people that were actors that were not on camera. So it was like, the lines were very blurred, especially for me, because, you know, I had a makeup artist doing my makeup, and then I would have Lindsay Burge, who's an incredible actress, who played my makeup artist in the second half, you know, come up and give me touch-ups. And there were times that I genuinely forgot that she wasn't actually giving me a touch-up, you know, so it got pretty gnarly.
Did tilapia cause any issues for anyone? Were there upset stomachs?
I mean, the food was terrible.
What is so crazy is that when we were shooting the second half, like the big climax stuff, Paula Lazaro, who played the AD in the movie as an actor, got incredibly sick. So she went to the emergency room from set. I mean, genuinely, it was like what was happening in the movie was happening in real life. It was not from the tilapia, although I don't think I tried the tilapia.
I've been lying since the second I got here.
You're in love with her. You are. I know it.
This is what you wanted, okay? This was going to ruin us. Okay, cut.
I just want to be normal people again.